Jill Stewart is going to start us off with our first testimony of this retreat. Yeah, give it up for Jill. And she's going to... I don't know. That's okay. And she's going to start... Wow. As you guys know, the theme for this entire retreat is Foundation for Faith. So our first talk is going to be about the blueprint. With any, time you're making any project, any building, you need a blueprint of how you want to do it. So Jill's going to talk about the blueprint of her faith. And Jill, just take it away.
Sorry, I don't know myself. It's okay, Jill. We still love you. Well, first of all, I'm going to start off talking about your foundation for your faith, which then will lead into the blueprints. Because obviously, first of all, you need blueprints to make the foundation. And all of you came on this retreat because you're obviously Catholics. Maybe some of you came here because you haven't quite found God yet. Maybe some of you came here because you just want to strengthen your faith with God. What I think faith, your foundation for faith is kind of like the base of your faith. Maybe that one thing that made you realize what really connects you with God. For example, my foundation for faith is when I was 4 years old, my mom died of cancer, and some of you may not know that, but it kind of was I've had a rough time my whole life dealing with it, because obviously everyone, some of you guys don't understand, it's not the easiest thing growing up without a mom. My dad was always off doing his thing, and my brother and my sister never really talked that much. So, yeah, I really never believed in God until my freshman or sophomore year of high school. And I had absolutely no relationship with God. I never went to church. I never paid attention in my religion classes in school. And my sophomore year of high school, I finally realized that God isn't punishing me for the things that I've done or God's not trying to punish me. God is doing things like taking my mom from me because He knows that I am a strong person and I can deal with things like that. And God has this big ultimate plan for everyone, and through my mom not being with me my whole life, it's made me a stronger person. It's made me more independent. I learned how to deal with a lot of things. I've become stronger in my faith because of it, because what I've realized is that I don't need a mom to be there for me when I have someone like God in my life, where I can always turn to God. He'll always be there for me. Pretty much, yeah. So I have this word. It's strength. The rest of the Life Force team is going to come up and talk to you guys about what they think their foundation for faith is. So, say it one more time.
Alright, so my name is Samuel Red, and this is my first year on the Life Force team, first year on the Life Force retreat. And a little bit of background on my story on how I came to be the Catholic that I am today. When I was growing up, I was born Catholic. My family was all Catholic. All of my relatives, aunts, uncles, were all Catholic. And all of my siblings, I have 4 siblings, all older, quite a bit older. I'm 7 years behind the next brother of mine. So they all went to Blessed Sacrament, which is where I attended elementary school. And then after that, all 4 of them, they went to Comstock Park. And in my 8th grade year, I got really involved into my youth group. Not really involved, but I got involved in my youth group, and that was the best thing for me. It really drew me closer. It made me know what being a Catholic really meant. Because going to church, I'd always go. I'd be at church every weekend, but I didn't know what it meant. Like, I'd just be there. It's kind of like a bland thing for me. And I could never really, like, if I needed God, I couldn't really ever find him, but I knew he was there. And so that brings up my word. That's actually a phrase, hide and seek. Meaning that, well, how many of you have felt there was a time in your life where you were going really hard, it was really hard for you, and you couldn't really find God, but you knew he was there? Has that ever happened to anybody? I'm sure it has. So, it's all about finding God. You have to put in the effort to find him, and in return, you'll get great satisfaction out of it. And so, that doesn't mean just, putting in the, good night prayer to God or something like that. It means getting deeper involved with him, reading the Bible, reading scriptures. That's always good. It lets you know, like, more of who he is. And having deeper prayer, like, just talking to God, letting him, listening, talking to him, all of that. And that's really what got me involved in Christ. 8th grade was my turning point. And talking to my parents and letting me go to West Catholic to be in a Catholic environment more, as opposed to Comstock Park, which, there's not good people there. It's just that it's a Catholic environment, and that really helped me grow stronger and grow closer to him. So, hide and seek is my foundation for faith. And our next member of the Life Force team to speak is Teresa.
Alright, my name is Teresa, and I'm a junior this year. And my word that I chose was observation. I have always grown up a Catholic, and every week I would go to Mass. And how many of you wake up on Sundays sometimes and you're just like, oh, I don't want to go to Mass. And you just lay in bed and you're like, dang it. Well, I would do that every Sunday morning, and I never missed a Mass because my family is a very Catholic family. And I would just sit there during Mass, and I'd sing, and I'd stand when I was supposed to stand, I'd kneel when I was supposed to kneel, but I never really felt anything from that. So it got to about my 8th grade year, and it was about this time of the year, and I got a call, well, actually my sister got a call from Matt Galloway. I don't know if many of you know him, but he graduated a couple of years ago. And he invited us to go to Steubenville. And I don't know if many of you have been there, but it's this amazing retreat where like hundreds of Catholics come together and go to Steubenville, and it's like this long road trip to go there and have like this whole Catholic retreat over the weekend. And so we got this call, and Matt's like, hey, there's 2 open seats on our bus if you guys want to come. And we're like, okay, when is it? And he's like, tomorrow. So we're like, okay, it's like 9 o'clock at night, and he's calling, and he's like, hey, you want to go on this retreat? That's tomorrow. So we go and pack our things and go on the retreat. And it comes to Saturday night, and we have adoration. And this Saturday night here, we're going to have adoration too. But at Steubenville, I was looking around, and we're all in this big, like, gymnasium, kind of. And there's, like, about 1,000 people there, and I look around, and there's not a dry eye in the place. And I look to my left, and I look to my right, and there's these people who, I don't know if you guys know what slain in the spirit is, but it's when, like, you're so overwhelmed by, like, the power of God that you just, like, you kind of go, like, unconscious. And, like, you're still, like, there and, like, alive, but you're just pretty much unconscious. And I looked at them and I was like, wow. They have so much faith that they are slain in the spirit. And I look around and everybody else who is still, like, conscious is bawling their eyes out. And then I look up at the monstrance and I'm like, wow, I want to be like that. I want to have that much faith as everybody else did in that retreat. And at that moment, it changed. And I was like, you know, I want to be like that. And you don't have to be slain in the spirit. You don't have to I mean, I was bawling my eyes out because I'm a very emotional person, but you don't, it's all right if you don't cry during adoration. It's all right if you're not slain in the spirit, because, I mean, everyone's different, and some people don't show their emotions that way. But just looking around and observing everybody else, I was like, wow, I want to be like that. And at that moment, it changed my life. And I decided that I was going to be more of a Catholic.
So I'm Dave Strain. I am the only guy, senior member of the Life Force team, so I'm pretty proud of that. So can I see a show of hands of how many people in one time in their lives have gone to church forced by your parents? Okay. But anyways, like I want to talk about is the time in my life where I didn't really see God at all. I got involved in youth group towards the end of 8th grade year at St. Anthony's. Many of you go there for youth group, so. But I never really found God in my life until then. I would be the one that would go to church and kind of just sit there and not do anything, just listen, not participate. And so I ended up so low in my faith that I had to end up talking to someone. So I talked to someone, and he said that all you have to do is try to find him. So my word is seeking. So I want to talk about the time I went on a mission trip to Great Falls, Montana, where I worked with a very cute old lady who didn't have much of a house left. We had to go and fix it and stuff. But I saw God in her face, and it just made me wonder how lucky I am to be how I am today. And so I encourage you this weekend to just try to find God, even if, just participate a little bit. If you don't like to, just try to participate, because you will get a better experience out of it if you just put more into it, like you said. So, thank you.
So I'm Monica James, and this is my first year at West, so some of you probably don't know me, and it's my first year on the Life Force team. And the word I chose was independence, because my family's always been really Catholic. My parents encouraged us to go to Mass every week, or we would go to adoration, reconciliation, the extra things. So it's really emphasized my lifestyle the way I grew up. But it's more like going through the motions. It didn't really mean a lot to me, I realized, because it was easy to be Catholic because my family was so Catholic. But I think by the time I was a freshman in high school, I started going to youth group more, and I met a lot of the cool people there, and they just had such a deep relationship with God that it became something that I wanted to have too, and I noticed that, and it made their lives different for them. And I had an experience kind of like Teresa at a student living retreat, because the adoration there is so cool. But I guess that was the one moment that I would pinpoint when I wanted to change my life and become closer to God. And I guess some of the ways I did that were praying a little more every day, and